On the day she vowed I was her forever, I revealed her secret affair on the big screen, ended the wedding at the altar, and walked away with my head held high. My name is Daniel Carter, born and raised in Ohio, 34M, and shaped by a father who repeated a simple line until it became a guiding law in my life. If you commit, you do not quit. I carried that lesson like a compass. I built my life with loyalty, honesty, and determination as my foundation. I worked tirelessly, launched a small business, saved every dollar carefully, and created a steady, honest existence for myself. Meeting Emily Harper felt like an unexpected fortune. She carried herself with confidence that drew eyes without effort, and her laughter had a way of making people feel included instantly. For 3 years, we built something that I believed was real. Sure, we had disagreements, like any couple, but most days were comfortably familiar. I trusted that foundation without hesitation, believing that love and commitment were the core of our relationship. But 2 weeks before our wedding, everything I thought I knew shattered. My friend Tyler walked into my house, his expression heavy with something he could barely bring himself to say. Instead of speaking, he handed me his phone. On the screen were messages between Emily and a man she referred to casually as a work friend. The words spoke of late-night meetings, secret plans, and intimacies that no fiancé should be sharing with anyone but the man she was about to marry. I read those messages over and over, each word etching pain into my chest. It wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern. Instead of exploding in rage, I chose a different path. I asked questions. I brought up her late nights, listened to her polished excuses, and watched how effortlessly she spoke as if she'd rehearsed these lies beforehand. That ease, that calm manner of deception, confirmed everything I feared. She was living 2 lives, the one she showed me and the one she hid in secret texts. I could have called off the wedding quietly, saved myself from the spectacle, and left it as a private matter. But that didn't sit right with me. A ceremony meant to be built on truth and commitment would have turned into a theater of lies, with everyone we loved watching a false image take shape. My mother, my friends, Emily's own family, they deserved to know the person they were about to cheer for, and I deserved to walk away without carrying her lies alone. That's when I decided if she would not tell the truth, I would. The days leading up to the wedding were surreal. Outwardly, I played my role. I sat through rehearsals, chose music, smiled for pictures, and nodded along when people asked about final details. Inside, I was planning a different kind of reveal, not to punish, not to humiliate for the sake of cruelty, but to ensure that the truth could no longer be hidden. I envisioned the moment clearly. Guests gathered, faces full of anticipation, and a screen meant to display memories of love instead projecting the words that showed betrayal. When the wedding morning arrived, I felt the weight of what I was about to do. The church was beautiful, filled with lilies and hushed conversations. My mother sat in the front row, already tearful, unaware of the storm that was about to break. Tyler gave me a look that carried both support and sympathy. As I adjusted my collar and took my place at the front, I knew this would be a turning point in my life. Emily walked down the aisle like a vision pulled from a movie. Calm, radiant, every bit the bride everyone expected her to be. Her vows were flawless, full of promises to love, to stay, to build a future together. The room leaned in, hearts full, believing they were witnessing a love story. But I knew better. When my turn came, I spoke softly but firmly, choosing words that were honest without being cruel. I spoke about truth, respect, and the foundation a marriage required. Then, with steady hands, I connected my phone to the projector. The slideshow began, but instead of smiling photos, the screen filled with the private messages that told the real story. Gasps rippled through the room as the words appeared. He's boring but reliable. Can't wait to sneak away later. Faces that moments ago were beaming with joy turned pale with shock. Emily's father leaned forward, squinting, as if hoping he had misread the words. My mother's hands fell limp into her lap. Friends sat frozen, their smiles erased. Emily's eyes widened. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "Daniel, please, not here." But I kept my voice calm, my resolve firm. This is exactly the place. Everyone deserves to know who you really are. Her tears flowed freely as she begged, her voice breaking with desperation. But I pulled my hand away, looked her in the eye, and said words that cut deeper than any shout could have. We didn't build a life, Emily. You built an image, and I almost married it. Then I turned to the guests, declared the wedding canceled, and invited them to enjoy the open bar since it was already paid for. The room erupted into chaos. Whispers, gasps, disbelief. Emily collapsed at the altar, her world crumbling in front of everyone. I straightened my jacket, walked slowly down the aisle, and stepped outside into the fresh air, leaving behind a storm of murmurs and broken illusions. For the first time in weeks, my chest felt lighter. In the days that followed, Emily tried to reach me with pleas, with apologies, with anger. She showed up at my doorstep, eyes red, voice cracking, begging for another chance. But her words no longer matched her actions. Eventually, even she realized the curtain had fallen and stopped trying. Word spread quickly around town. Some people applauded my choice, saying I had saved myself from years of misery. Others whispered that I should have handled it quietly. But opinions didn't matter to me anymore. What mattered was that I walked away free, no longer carrying a burden of lies. Emily's reputation collapsed overnight. Friends distanced themselves, coworkers whispered, and the man she risked everything for disappeared without a word. Her carefully polished image was gone, and I didn't take pleasure in it, but I noticed it. As for me, I chose peace. I threw myself into work, reconnected with friends, and rediscovered parts of myself I had neglected. The silence in my home no longer felt heavy. It felt calming, honest, and clean. Months later, when asked if I would do it all over again, my answer was simple. Yes, because weddings are supposed to be about truth. And if one person walks into it with lies, the other deserves to walk away with their dignity intact. Emily lost her reputation that day. I lost a relationship I once believed in. But what I gained was worth more than any wedding. Freedom, clarity, and peace. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't rage or bitterness. It's choosing to walk away with the truth, leaving the lies behind in the harsh light of day where they belong. Thank you for staying with me until the end. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more stories that prove truth always finds its way out.